She was one of the most versatile actresses of the 1960s who graced the stage, screen, and TV. Somebody who has won many coveted awards, and most notably the Best Actress Oscar in 1963. Since the 1950s, she had carved a career in acting and worked all the way into the early 2000s. But it was Bancroft's talent in reinvention and an unconventional career track that makes it very interesting to discover more about. She may be known for a role that overshadows most of her other work, and we will delve into the details of her life and what makes her so significant. Anne Bancroft was born Anna Maria Luisa Italiano to Italian immigrants in the Bronx. After finishing high school, Anne attended HB Studio, the American Academy of Dramatic Arts, the Actors Studio, and the American Film Institute's directing workshop for women at UCLA. This education was invaluable to her as it was her training to enter the entertainment business. By this point, the acting style was different. The star system was crumbling, and therefore the acting approach and style was getting taken over by more individualistic and introspective acting style. Take James Dean and Marlon Brando, for example. It was the early 50s, and Bancroft was in her early 20s, and securing small and insignificant roles on screen. Her debut being in Don't Bother to Knock in 1952. The next 5 years consisted of minor roles Bancroft was dissatisfied with. The whole glamorous and sultry role was never for her. She wanted depth, which she could not get in Hollywood. In fact, she decided to exit the film business and work on stage. She spent another 5 years from 1957 to 1962 on Broadway and found her luck there. She got to work with major names in the business like Arthur Penn, William Gibson, and Henry Fonda. The collaborations brought Bancroft 2 Tony Awards for her roles in Two for the Seesaw in 1958 and The Miracle Worker in 1960. By the time The Miracle Worker was getting cast for a film version in 1962, it took a lot of convincing film producers to cast Bancroft as the lead of Anne Sullivan. But they wanted bigger names like Elizabeth Taylor. Bancroft played a blind instructor to Helen Keller, played by Patty Duke. This physically demanding and intense role was prepared extensively for Bancroft. Method acting was her approach, and to this day this film is highly rated and admired. And for this dedicated and emotional performance, Bancroft won the Best Actress Award in 1963. She was not able to attend since she was working on a Broadway play at that time. Joan Crawford came to accept the award on her behalf, and that triggered Bette Davis, who was nominated that year too, and she was Joan's rival, and you can watch videos I made about them too. But it was a very interesting career trajectory for Bancroft because she was already sprinkling her name in film since the early 50s, as I mentioned before, but was never under the spotlight until this moment. This was the perfect moment for her to re-enter the film business and get the roles she always wanted. After this Oscar win, Bancroft mixed stage and film acting in her repertoire. Her appearances in The Devil and The Little Foxes were successful plays, and her roles in movies like The Pumpkin Eater, The Graduate, The Turning Point, and Agnes of God all nominated her for the Oscar. The Graduate, opposite Dustin Hoffman, which came out in 1967, is Bancroft's most memorable role. She believed it often overshadowed her other work. Bancroft, who played a much older woman who seduces Hoffman's character, was actually only 6 years older than Hoffman. Eventually, Bancroft became one of the few people to win Emmys, Tonys, and an Oscar. This is known as the Triple Crown of acting. Bancroft's list of projects seems to be never-ending. This woman clearly loved to act on stage, film, and TV. It just proves how talented and chameleon-like she was. She even wrote and directed a comedy drama called Fatso in 1980. It is clear that Anne Bancroft was not in it for the fame, the glamour, and publicity. She said, "Film critics said I gave a voice to the fear we all have, that we'll reach a point in our lives, look around and realize that all the things we said we'd do and become will never come to be, and that we are ordinary." And she was very content and a happy person. Much of this came from her doing work that she loved, her down-to-earth personality, and her beloved husband, Mel Brooks, a famous director and actor, a big name in the 70s cinema, whom she met in 1961. She said, "When he comes home at night and I hear his key in the lock, I say to myself, oh good, the party's about to begin." Their relationship was a very big aspect of their lives, and they stayed together until Mel passed away. Anne Bancroft to this day remains a big name in cinema, and somebody who can be admired for just being themselves.